There are mornings when your eyes open, but your life already feels too heavy. Before your feet touch the floor, your hand is reaching for your phone. The screen lights up, news, notifications, other people's wins, other people's problems. Before you say a single word to yourself, the world has already started talking inside your head, very loudly. You feel a small knot in your chest. You see someone further ahead than you. You read something that makes the future feel unsafe. You remember a mistake from yesterday that still stings. And without noticing, you sign an invisible contract with the day. Today, my attention belongs to everything outside of me. Today, my peace is up for negotiation. The Stoics would say this is a dangerous way to start a morning. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Modern neuroscience says the same thing with different words. What you think repeatedly becomes wiring in your brain. Those first thoughts are not background noise. They are the first meal your mind eats. They are the architect that begins building the house you will live in for the next 16 hours. So, ask yourself honestly, if your mornings begin like this, what kind of house have you been building? One made of comparison, fear, and autopilot, or one made of clarity, courage, and calm? What if every morning, without realizing it, you have been agreeing to live inside anxiety, overthinking, and the need to control everything? And what if rewiring your mind did not require a perfect life or a complicated routine, but 7 simple sentences, 7 Stoic affirmations you say to yourself before the world speaks? 7 lines that train your brain to guard your attention, return to the present, choose your response, grow through discomfort, remember you are already enough, release what you cannot control, and live by your values. In this video, we will walk through those 7 sentences together. We will blend Stoic wisdom with modern psychology and turn each one into a small practice you can actually use in real mornings, in a real life. If you are ready to stop waking up on autopilot and start living with intention, stay with me until the end. Like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to Stoic Current if you are serious about building a stronger inner life. And quietly say this to yourself as we begin, not as a slogan but as a decision. My words create my reality. Number 1. I guard my attention. Let's be honest. Most mornings, you don't even start with yourself. You start with a screen. You wake up, your hand reaches for your phone almost before your eyes are fully open, and in a few seconds your mind is no longer yours. News, social media, emails, messages, a flood of noise that has nothing to do with what your soul actually needs today. And then you wonder why you feel scattered, anxious, behind, before you've even brushed your teeth. Your attention is the most valuable thing you have. It is the doorway through which everything enters your inner world. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. Where your energy goes, your life slowly bends. But most people treat their attention like a public park. Anyone can walk in, any thought can wander through, any piece of trash can be dropped and left there all day. Stoicism invites you to see it differently. Imagine your mind as a fortress. Your attention is the front gate. Whoever you let walk through that gate in the morning doesn't just visit for a second. They sit down, they unpack their bags, and they stay with you for hours. That one headline, that one comparison, that one email, they echo in the background of your whole day, shaping how you feel about yourself and how you show up in the world. You wouldn't let strangers wander around your house, dumping garbage in your living room, but you allow that with your mind almost every morning. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." What he didn't have yet was the language of neuroscience, but we do. Neuroscience tells us this: what you repeatedly attend to, you become. Your brain is constantly sculpting itself based on what you focus on. Every time you offer your attention to fear-based news, to empty drama, to endless comparison, you are voting for a more anxious, more scattered version of yourself. Not because you're weak, but because that's how the brain works. So why are you so hooked on checking your phone? Part of it is biology. Every notification, every new piece of information gives you a tiny hit of dopamine. Your brain learns, if I feel empty or uncomfortable, a quick scroll will distract me. Over time, this becomes automatic. You don't even decide, you just reach. Part of it is fear. Fear of missing out. Fear that if you don't check, you'll fall behind, you'll lose control, you'll be left out of something important, and part of it is avoidance. When you first wake up, that's when your real feelings are the clearest. The loneliness, the tiredness, the confusion about what you're doing with your life. Grabbing your phone is a fast way to run away from that raw honesty, so you escape into noise. But the cost of that escape is your peace. It's not that you don't have enough time. Most people don't have a time problem, they have an attention problem. By the time you've given your first precious hour to everything outside of you, you're already too drained to build anything inside of you. Guarding your attention is not about hating technology or becoming a monk on a mountain. It's about reclaiming the first moments of your day as sacred territory. So, here is your practice, the golden 60 minutes. For the first hour after you wake up, you create a simple rule: no social media, no news, no doom scrolling. Instead, you choose only 3 categories of input, 3 things that actually nourish you. First, stillness. This can be 2 minutes of breathing, 5 minutes of silence, a short meditation. You just let your nervous system arrive before you throw it into the noise of the world. Second, journaling. Nothing fancy. 1 page. You can write, "What is on my mind this morning?" Or, "What do I need today?" Or, "How do I want to show up?" You're telling your brain, my inner voice goes first. Third, learning. Read a few pages of a book that grows you. Listen to a teaching that strengthens your character. Feed your mind something with nutritional value instead of junk. That's it. Stillness, journaling, learning. 1 hour. No perfection, no drama. If 1 hour feels impossible, start with 20 minutes. Start with 10. The point is not the number, the point is the direction. You're training your brain to understand. In the morning, we don't rush to give our attention away. We place it carefully, intentionally. On top of that, you set an attention gate rule for your mornings. You decide in advance which voices are allowed in early. Maybe it's 1 podcast, 1 book, 1 teacher you trust. Not the entire internet, not the entire world. Just 1 or 2 high-quality sources that line up with the person you want to become. This is not about being strict for the sake of it. This is about respect. You respect your mind enough not to turn it into a trash can. You treat it like a temple, because when you guard your attention, everything else becomes easier. Focus becomes easier. Presence becomes easier. Choosing your response becomes easier. Your day doesn't feel like 1,000 tabs open in your head because you didn't let 1,000 random things in. So tomorrow morning, before your hand reaches for your phone, reach for this sentence: I guard my attention. Say it slowly. Feel it. You are not just repeating a nice phrase. You are reclaiming the front gate of your life. You stop treating your mind like a public park and start treating it like a sacred space. If this speaks to you, write it in the comments to lock it in. I guard my attention before the world grabs it. Number 2, I return to the present. You've guarded your attention. You've decided who gets to speak first in your mind. Now comes the next battle, where your mind actually lives. Most mornings, your body is in one place and your head is somewhere else entirely. Your head is 5 days ahead, racing through deadlines, bills, conversations you're dreading, problems you haven't solved yet. or it's 5 years behind, replaying old mistakes, old shame, old versions of you that no longer exist but still haunt you like ghosts. Your body is in bed, your mind is in a war zone. No wonder you're exhausted before the day even starts. The Stoics were obsessed with one simple truth: the only place your power ever exists is in the present moment, not in the story of what you should have done, not in the fantasy of how everything might go wrong, only here, only now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Seneca added, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." They were pointing to the same reality. Life is happening in this breath, in this room, in this step. Everything else is either memory or imagination. Imagine this with me. The present moment is your only work desk. It's the only surface where you can actually write, create, decide, act. The past and the future. They're like two storage rooms filled with files. In one room, you have boxes of old stories, things you regret, things you're proud of, things that hurt you, things you still don't understand. In the other room, you have folders labeled "What If," projections, plans, fears, scenarios. Nothing is wrong with those rooms. You need them. Sometimes, you need to walk into the past room to learn. Sometimes you need to walk into the future room to plan. But here is the problem. You don't just visit those rooms, you move in. You spend hours wandering through past files, rereading old pain. Or you get lost in the future room, rearranging worst-case scenarios in your head like furniture. And while you're busy walking back and forth between those storage rooms, your work desk, the present, is empty. Nothing gets done. No real action. No real presence. Just mental travel. Your brain loves this kind of time travel. Why? Because it's a way to avoid the raw simplicity of right now. Right now might feel boring, or uncomfortable, or uncertain. Sitting with your actual life, as it is, without distraction, can feel like standing in an empty room with the lights on. There's nowhere to hide. So the mind does what it does best. It escapes. It runs to the past to punish you. It runs to the future to scare you. Living in the past becomes a form of self-punishment that never ends. If I keep replaying it, maybe I can finally fix it. Living in the future becomes self-terror. If I imagine every bad outcome, maybe I can protect myself. But you don't fix the past by reliving it, and you don't secure the future by obsessing over it. You only weaken the present. So, when you say, "I return to the present," you are not denying your past or ignoring your future. You are reclaiming your work desk. You are saying, "This is where my hands are. This is where my feet are. This is where my power lives. Let's turn this into something practical." Tomorrow morning, after you say, "I guard my attention," you add a simple ritual called 3 points of presence. You sit up, you pause, and you bring your mind home in 3 steps. First, you notice 3 sensations from your body. Feel your breath moving in and out of your chest. Feel your feet on the floor or your back against the mattress. Notice the light touching your skin the way the sun, or even the dim morning light, hits your face. 3 simple signals: breath, contact, light. This tells your nervous system, we are here, we are safe enough, we are in this moment. Second, you choose 3 small actions that belong only to today, not the whole week, not your entire life plan, just today. Maybe it's, today I will drink water before I touch my phone. Today I will finish that one important task I've been avoiding. Today I will send one honest message to someone I care about. Not 30 tasks, just 3, clear, doable, present. Third, you ask yourself one question: what is actually in my hands today? Not, what is everything I'm worried about? Not, what are all the possible disasters? But, what, right now, is genuinely mine to do? Maybe what's in your hands is sending an email. Maybe it's showing up on time. Maybe it's taking a walk instead of staying in bed with your thoughts. Maybe it's simply breathing and not speaking when you're angry. When you answer that question honestly, you cut through a lot of mental noise. You stop trying to control the entire week with your mind. You focus on what can be moved by your actual hands. Over time, this shifts your identity. You stop being someone who lives in a simulation in your head, a never-ending movie of what was and what if, and become someone who lives in reality. You become the kind of person who is actually present during conversations, who remembers what the sky looked like today, who feels their own life while it's happening, instead of only remembering it later or fearing it in advance. There will still be moments when your mind tries to escape. It will run back to that one regret. It will sprint ahead to that one fear. That's okay. The goal is not to freeze your thoughts in place. The goal is to notice when you've left the work desk and gently walk yourself back. I return to the present. You might have to say it 10 times on a heavy day. You might have to say it in traffic, in the shower, at your desk, in the middle of a hard conversation. Each time you say it, you're choosing to sit back down at the only desk where your life is actually being written. The Stoics were not naive. Marcus Aurelius struggled with worry and weariness. Seneca faced exile, illness, danger. They had every reason to live in regret and fear, but they kept reminding themselves, each day is a small, complete life. This moment is where virtue can be practiced. This breath is where strength can be chosen. You don't have to erase your past. You don't have to know your whole future. You just have to come back to now, again and again, like a warrior returning to the front line. This is how you stop living in a simulation and start living in the life that is actually in front of you. So as you listen to this, take one slow breath. Feel your body. Name one thing you can see. Name one thing you can hear. Ask yourself, what is actually in my hands today? And then, gently, answer it. And if this resonates with you, write this in the comments to anchor it. I am fully alive in this moment. Number 3, I choose my response. There is a quiet way most people live that slowly destroys their inner power. They wake up, step into the day, and immediately become available for everyone else's chaos. One message changes their mood. One look from a stranger ruins their confidence. One mistake makes them write off the whole day. Someone cuts them off in traffic. Someone sends a passive-aggressive text. Someone forgets to say thank you. Instantly, their emotions are pulled like a puppet on strings. And the story sounds very familiar. I didn't have a choice. That's just how I am. The quiet decision to abandon your inner sovereignty. The Stoics refused to live like that. You cannot control whether it rains today, but you can choose your jacket and the way you walk under the rain. You cannot control every event that hits you, but you can decide what it means, what you do next, and who you become because of it. Between what happens and what you do next, there is a space. The psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, who survived the horror of Nazi concentration camps, wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Epictetus said it in a different way. We are disturbed not by things, but by the views we take of them. It isn't the event alone that breaks you. It's the story you attach to it and the reaction you choose consciously or unconsciously. The problem is, your brain loves shortcuts. Over years, maybe decades, your mind has been building fast lanes between what happens and how you react. Those fast lanes are wired from old pain, old beliefs, old patterns you may not even remember choosing. Maybe when you were young, raising your voice was the only way to be heard. Maybe shutting down was the only way to stay safe. Maybe pleasing everyone was the only way to avoid conflict. Now, as an adult, a small trigger can light up those same pathways in a second. Someone disagrees with you, your brain races down the lane of defensiveness. You make a mistake, your brain sprints to shame. Plans change last minute, your brain bolts straight to anger or panic. Every time you react automatically, you are voting for those old pathways. You are reinforcing them, making them deeper, faster, more automatic. But here is the good news. Every time you pause, even for a few seconds, and choose differently, you are laying down a new track. I choose my response is not a cute sentence. It is you stepping into that space Frankl talked about. It is you refusing to be dragged by the same old wires. So how do you practice this in real life, not just in theory? You begin in the morning, before the day ambushes you. After you guard your attention and return to the present, you sit for a moment and repeat slowly 3 times. I choose my response. I choose my response. I choose my response. Not like a rushed mantra, but like a quiet contract. As you say it, you can even think about what might go wrong today. Traffic, delays, someone being rude, a plan falling apart. And with each scenario, you remind yourself, I may not choose the event, but I will choose who I am inside the event. Then, during the day, you apply what I call the rule of pause. The rule of pause is simple, but not easy. When something triggers you, a harsh comment, a disappointing message, a small failure, you do not react immediately. You give yourself 5-10 seconds. 3 slow breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. This short pause is you stepping into the control room of your soul instead of letting the factory run itself. In that pause, you ask one question: what response serves my growth and my peace? Not, what reaction feels good right now? Not, how do I prove I'm right? Not, how do I punish them or myself? But what response serves my growth and my peace? Maybe that means you speak firmly instead of exploding. Maybe it means you walk away instead of staying and fighting. Maybe it means you apologize instead of defending. Maybe it means you say nothing and choose to respond later when you are calm. That one pause, that one question, is how new neural pathways are built. Think of 2 versions of you in the same situation. Version 1 gets an upsetting text. Heart races. Fingers type back instantly. Words you can't take back. The rest of the day is soaked in regret and overthinking. Version 2 gets the same text. Heart still races, because you are human. But you remember, I choose my response. You put the phone down. You breathe. You decide to answer in an hour, not in 30 seconds. You respond with clarity instead of impulse. The event didn't change. Your nervous system still reacted. What changed was the captain in the control room. The Stoics were not emotionless statues. Marcus Aurelius felt anger, fear, exhaustion, but he trained himself to see each obstacle as an opportunity to practice virtue. Epictetus lived through slavery, yet he taught people to focus on what is in their power: judgments, intentions, responses. You are doing the same when you say, I choose my response. You are not pretending that words don't hurt or that life isn't unfair sometimes. You are simply refusing to give away the one thing that is always yours, the freedom to choose your next move. Some days you will fail, you will snap, you will say something you regret. You will act from old pain. That doesn't mean this sentence is useless. It means you are human. On those days, you practice again, this time in reverse. You pause after the reaction and ask, what could I have chosen instead? What will I choose next time? You turn even your mistakes into training data for your soul. Over weeks and months, something subtle changes. People around you may still act the same. Circumstances might still be unpredictable, but inside there is more space, more calm, more deliberate action. You stop being the puppet and start becoming the author. This is how you move from "I can't help it" to "I'm learning to handle it differently." This is how you stop letting your worst moments define you and start letting your chosen responses refine you. So tomorrow morning, before you open your messages, before you let the day pull you in 1,000 directions, look at yourself and say, "I choose my response." Say it as if you mean it. Say it as if your freedom depends on it, because in many ways, it does. This is how you stop being a puppet of circumstance and become the author of each action you take. And if this lands in your chest, write it in the comments to anchor it. I am the author of my reactions. Number 4. This discomfort is my growth. From the time you were a child, you were trained to move away from anything that felt uncomfortable. Hard homework? Put it off. Awkward conversation? Avoid it. New path in your career? Stay where it's safe. Saying no when you're used to pleasing everyone? Swallow it and keep the peace. Slowly, a quiet belief formed inside you. If something is uncomfortable, it must be wrong. If something stretches you, it's a sign to retreat. You started confusing comfort with peace. But comfort and peace are not the same thing. Comfort is the couch you sink into because you're too tired to face your real life. Peace is the strength you feel after you've done the hard thing you were avoiding. Comfort extended too long doesn't heal you. It leaves you stuck. It keeps you small. It buries your potential under a blanket of maybe later. Think about your body for a second. Muscles don't grow while you're sitting still. They grow when you push them to the edge of what they can handle. There's tension, there's resistance, there's that burning feeling that says, "This is hard." If you stopped every time it started to burn, you would never get stronger. You'd stay exactly where you are. Your mind, your character, your soul work the same way. Discomfort is the gym of your inner life. It doesn't smell nice. It's not soft. There's sweat, effort, and sometimes frustration. But it's the place where you become someone you weren't yesterday. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." He wasn't romanticizing pain. He was telling you a truth about growth. It doesn't happen in the soft, familiar places. It happens where you are stretched. The Stoics used a phrase, amor fati, love of fate. That doesn't mean loving every painful event that happens. It means loving the opportunity for growth hidden inside those events. Not, "I love that this hurts," but "I love who I can become through this." Your brain, however, does not naturally think this way. The brain prefers familiar over better. Familiar feels safe, even when it's killing your spirit. That's why people stay in relationships that drain them. That's why they cling to jobs that suffocate them. That's why they repeat the same habits that make them miserable. Your nervous system has learned, "I know how to survive this version of life. A new one might be worse." So when you try to grow, your body reacts. You feel fear, you feel doubt, you feel shaky. We often misread these sensations. We think, "I feel scared, so something is wrong." In reality, the rule is usually this: I feel scared because I am leaving the old cage. Almost every breakthrough in your life will come with a wave of discomfort, uncertainty, vulnerability, embarrassment, frustration. Those feelings are not a sign of failure. They are the doorway into your next level. So, when you say, "This discomfort is my growth," you are not glorifying suffering. You are redefining your relationship with it. You are saying, "If I am uncomfortable because I am facing something meaningful, then I am exactly where I need to be. Let's make this practical." In the morning, after you say, "I guard my attention, and I return to the present, and I choose my response," you choose one small discomfort on purpose, just one. Maybe it's a cold shower for 30 seconds, not to torture yourself, but to train your nervous system. We can survive short, controlled discomfort. Maybe it's waking up 15 minutes earlier to do the work that actually matters to you instead of scrolling. Maybe it's sending that email you've been avoiding. Maybe it's spending 10 minutes on the difficult project that scares you because it matters. The point is not to crush yourself. The point is to send a message. In this life, we move toward meaningful discomfort instead of running from it. Then, during the day, discomfort will find you on its own. A task feels too big. A conversation feels scary. A decision feels risky. Your first instinct will be to say, "Why is this happening to me? Why can't things be easier?" That's the old programming speaking. Here is your new script. Growth lives here. Where am I growing in this? Notice how that question changes the energy. Instead of, "Why me?" you ask, "Who am I becoming?" Instead of, "How do I escape?" you ask, "What is this training in me?" Maybe the discomfort of setting a boundary is growing your self-respect. Maybe the discomfort of staying single for a while is growing your independence. Maybe the discomfort of working on your craft every day is growing your discipline. Maybe the discomfort of being honest is growing your courage. You don't have to like the feeling to use it. This is not toxic positivity. Some pain is brutal, unfair, and heartbreaking. The Stoics knew that. They experienced exile, betrayal, illness, and death. They never said, "Pain is fun." They said, "Even in pain, I still have power over my mind. You can acknowledge, this is hard. I don't enjoy this." And still whisper, "But there is something in me that can grow here." Remember this. Your future self is watching you. The stronger, calmer, wiser version of you that you dream about, how are they being built? Not in easy weeks, not in the months when everything goes according to plan. They are built in the days when you feel like quitting but don't. In the conversations you wish you could avoid but choose to have. In the moments when you feel small but still take the next step forward. Every time you walk through discomfort instead of around it, you add weight to your inner muscles. You respect yourself a little more. You trust yourself a little more. You become someone you can rely on. So tomorrow morning, choose one small discomfort on purpose, and when the bigger, unexpected discomforts arrive, take a breath and say, "This discomfort is my growth. Growth lives here." Feel the shift. You are no longer a victim of hard things. You are a student of them. This is how you stop running away from the test and start using it to forge steel in your soul. If this speaks to you, anchor it in the comments. I welcome the discomfort of becoming. Number 5. I am already enough. There is a lie you've been breathing in for so long that it feels like oxygen. It sounds like this. When I achieve more, then I'll deserve rest. When I fix myself, then I'll deserve love. When I become better, then I'll finally feel okay in my own skin. So you keep running. More work, more goals, more self-improvement, more fixing. And every time you reach a milestone, the finish line moves. You hit the target, and instead of peace, you feel a brief high, followed by a quiet whisper, "It's still not enough. You are still not enough." This is not an accident. This is how the game of our society is designed. From ads to social media to casual conversations, you are constantly shown a version of life where you are almost there but not quite, a little thinner, a little richer, a little more productive, a little more impressive. Your worth is turned into a scoreboard, and the numbers are never stable. You learn to treat your own existence like a performance review. Imagine, for a moment, that you are a house, a beautiful, complex house with many rooms, strength, kindness, creativity, humor, resilience, the way you care for people, the way you get back up after being knocked down. But instead of seeing the whole house, you spend your days staring at one small crack in the wall. You walk past all the warm light, the solid foundation, the rooms you've built through years of living, and you fixate on that crack. That's ugly. "That's wrong. That's proof this whole place is worthless." Your inner critic becomes like a ruthless lawyer. Its job is not to see truth, but to build a case against you. It cherry-picks every mistake, every flaw, every moment of weakness, and uses it as evidence that you are less than. No matter what you do, the verdict is the same: not enough. The Stoics saw through this illusion. Epictetus taught, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." They weren't saying, "Never grow." They were saying, "Never base your worth on what can be taken away. Your skills can increase. Your bank account can rise and fall. Your relationships can change. Your body can age. Your mood can shift. But your value as a human being is not a stock price. It does not go up on good days and crash on bad days. So where does this feeling of not enough really come from? Often, it starts with comparison. You see curated versions of other people's lives and forget you're looking at a highlight reel. You judge your whole messy backstage against their polished stage performance. Sometimes it comes from old voices. Maybe someone in your childhood told you, directly or indirectly, that you were too much or not good enough. Maybe love was given only when you achieved. Maybe affection felt conditional. Those patterns sink deep. Sometimes it's the culture of productivity. You are praised more for what you produce than for who you are. So you start to believe that if you stop producing, you stop being valuable. But here is a quieter truth. Your worth was never supposed to be up for debate. On your worst day, when you are tired, when you mess up, when you fail, you are still as human as on your best day. Your dignity doesn't disappear, only your performance changes. "I am already enough" is not about pretending you have no flaws. It's about refusing to make your flaws your identity. So how do you move this from a nice idea into something you feel? In the morning, after your other affirmations, you sit and say, slowly, "I am already enough." Then you back it up with evidence, not external achievements, but internal qualities. You ask yourself, what are 3 inner qualities I already have that I respect? Maybe it's your perseverance. You've been knocked down, but you're still here. Maybe it's your kindness. You care deeply, even when no one sees it. Maybe it's your ability to listen, your sense of humor, your creativity, your honesty. Write down 3. Not what you hope to have, what you already carry. This is not arrogance. This is accurate seeing. You are teaching your brain to look at the entire house, not just the cracks. Then, during the day, pay attention to the moments when your inner critic starts yelling. You make a small mistake at work and the voice says, "You're incompetent." Someone doesn't reply to your message and the voice says, "You're unlovable." You feel tired and the voice says, "You're lazy and weak." When that critic shows up, don't just silently absorb it, name it. You might call it the old judge, the inner prosecutor, the broken radio, whatever fits. The point is to separate it from who you really are. When it speaks, you answer, "I hear you, but I don't serve you anymore." You can even say it out loud if you're alone. You are not trying to kill the critic. You are taking away its authority. You are choosing which voice has the final say about your worth. Some days, that critic will feel loud. On those days, remember, your emotions about yourself are not the truth about yourself. Feeling worthless does not make you worthless. Feeling behind does not mean you are behind. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, reminded himself that happiness required very little and that it was within yourself. If someone with that much external status had to remind himself his worth wasn't in his position, how much more do we? "I am already enough" does not mean "I will never grow again." It means I will grow from a place of wholeness, not from a wound that says, I am broken. You can still set goals. You can still improve your health, your skills, your relationships. But now it's not to earn the right to exist. It's to honor the life you already have. You stop living like someone begging the world for a permission slip to exist. You start living like the owner of your life. So tomorrow morning, when you look in the mirror and the old reflex comes up to scan for flaws, to list everything you're not, pause, breathe. Say, I am already enough. Then, name 3 inner qualities that prove it. You are not perfect. You never will be. No one is. But you are human, and that has always been enough to deserve respect, care, and a place on this earth. If this resonates with you, write this in the comments to anchor it. My worth is not negotiable. Number 6. I release what I can't control. There is a specific kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from work or lack of sleep. It comes from trying to manage things that were never yours to carry. You feel it when you replay a conversation, wondering if they misunderstood you, when you obsess over what someone thinks about you, when you lie in bed at night, running through every detail of a situation, trying to mentally force it to end the way you want. You try to control the outcome of your work, the speed of your healing, the timeline of your life, the choices of the people you love. And when reality refuses to obey, the side effects are always the same: anxiety, overthinking, guilt for things that were never fully your responsibility. It's like sitting in a car with the engine off, gripping the steering wheel as hard as you can. Your knuckles turn white, your shoulders ache. You're doing everything to keep control, but the car isn't moving. You're exhausted, but not actually going anywhere. Life is more like the ocean than a machine. You don't get to command the waves. You don't get to freeze the tide. You can learn how to swim, how to surf, how to float. You can choose how you meet each wave, but you cannot order the sea to be calm because you're tired. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus drew a simple but brutal line. There are things within our control and things beyond it. Within our control, our judgments, our intentions, our actions, our responses. Beyond our control, other people's opinions, the weather, the past, the ultimate outcomes. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Notice he didn't say, "You have power over everything if you just try harder." He said, "Your mind, your inner world, your character, your effort. That's where your true power lives." So why do we keep trying to control everything else? Because the illusion of control feels safe. Your mind whispers, "If I worry enough, I'll be prepared. If I plan enough, nothing bad will happen. If I manage everyone's emotions, no one will leave me." Worry feels like action. Overthinking feels like responsibility. Micromanaging feels like love. But here's the truth. None of those things actually stop pain. They just exhaust you before life even happens. The more you try to grip what you cannot control, the more you neglect what you can. You spend so much energy trying to manage other people's choices that you forget to manage your own character. You obsess over results and abandon the process. You stare at closed doors and ignore the open one right beside you. "I release what I can't control" is not passive, it's powerful. It's you saying, "I will put my energy where it actually changes something." Let's turn this into a real morning practice. After your other affirmations, take a notebook and draw 2 columns on the page. At the top of one column, write, "Within my control today." At the top of the other, write, "Beyond my control today." In the within column, list things like the effort I put into my work, the way I speak to people, my attitude when plans change, how I treat my body, whether I tell the truth, the preparation I do for what matters. In the beyond column, List things like how fast other people reply, whether they approve of me, the final outcome of the project, the weather, the past, the exact timeline of my healing or success. Be specific. Think about your actual day. What's worrying you, what you're hoping for, what you're afraid of. Then look at the within column and say, this is where I show up fully. Look at the beyond column and say, this is where I let go. You might even imagine physically releasing those items, like taking stones out of a backpack and setting them on the ground. They are still real, they still matter. But you are acknowledging they are not mine to carry alone and not mine to control. To seal it, say out loud, I release what I can't control. You are not saying, I don't care. You're saying, I will not destroy my peace over what I cannot command. Then, during the day, notice when your mind tries to pick those stones back up. You see someone you love making choices that hurt them. You've already spoken honestly. You've already offered support. But they continue. Your urge is to push, to argue, to manipulate, to drag them into the life you want for them. That urge comes from love, but it turns into control. In that moment, breathe and remember your two columns. Their choices go in the beyond column. Your job goes in the within column. To be honest, to be kind, to set boundaries, to protect your own mental health. You whisper inside, I release what I can't control, not as abandonment, but as respect for their path and for your sanity. Or maybe your battle is with time. You thought you'd be further along by now, that you'd have the career, the relationship, the stability. Life took you on detours, illness, loss, mistakes, unexpected responsibilities. You look around and feel behind, so you try to bully time with pressure. You rush, you force, you grind, not from purpose, but from panic. You secretly believe, if I push hard enough, I can make the future arrive right now. But some processes cannot be rushed. A seed does not become a tree because you shout at it. Healing does not obey your impatience. Relationships do not deepen on your schedule. Seneca wrote, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Your job is preparation, showing up, learning, doing the work. The timing of opportunity? That part was never in your contract. Releasing control doesn't mean you stop working. It means you stop worshipping outcomes. You give your best and accept that the universe, fate, God, however you see it, has a role too. You understand that your peace cannot be tied to a result you don't fully control. Marcus Aurelius led armies, made laws, faced plagues and betrayals. He had enormous responsibility, but even he had to accept that he could not control everything. So he focused ruthlessly on what was his decisions, his integrity, his mindset. He reminded himself, you always own the option of having no opinion about things outside your control. In other words, you don't have to let every external event own your inner world. You can care without clinging. You can work without worshipping results. You can love without controlling. This is how you stop fighting reality and start cooperating with it. So tomorrow morning, when your mind starts reaching out to grab everything, people, outcomes, future, timelines, slow down. Write your two columns. Be honest. Then say, I release what I can't control, and feel your shoulders drop just a little. You are not giving up. You are giving over. You are trusting that even if things don't go your way, you will still be able to meet them with strength, wisdom, and grace. If this speaks to something deep in you, anchor it in the comments. I trust the process beyond my control. Number 7, I live by my values. In this age, you probably don't suffer from a lack of information. You know a lot. You've watched videos, read books, saved quotes, liked posts about healing, growth, purpose, discipline. You can explain why boundaries matter, why honesty is important, why self-respect is non-negotiable. But then there's your actual day. You say you value health, but stress has you skipping sleep and numbing out with junk. You say you value honesty, but you still tell small lies to avoid discomfort. You say you value kindness, but you speak to yourself in ways you'd never speak to anyone else. You say you value courage, but you keep letting fear make your choices. And somewhere between what you say and what you do, a quiet shame starts to grow. Not the loud shame of one big mistake, but the subtle shame of daily misalignment. The sense that you're not quite living as the person you claim to be. That gap between your values and your actions is one of the fastest ways to lose respect for yourself. You don't need anyone else to judge you. You feel it inside. The Stoics were obsessed with closing that gap. For them, philosophy wasn't about sounding wise, it was about living wisely. They believed that virtue, excellence of character, was the only true good. Everything else, money, status, health, reputation, they called preferred indifferent. Nice to have, but not what defines a good life. In other words, who you are matters more than what you have. Your values are like a compass. You can carry a beautiful, expensive compass in your pocket, but if you never look at it when you decide where to go, it's just decoration. It doesn't guide your steps. Every day you live is like casting a vote. Each choice is a ballot you cast for the kind of person you're becoming. When you say you value honesty but lie to keep people comfortable, you've cast a vote for comfort over truth. When you say you value courage but run from every hard conversation, you've voted for fear. When you say you value kindness but tear yourself down internally, you've voted for self-betrayal. The good news is, no single day decides the election. Your identity is built over time, vote by vote, and you can start shifting the outcome today. Why is it so hard to live by our values? Partly because following your values often costs you something in the short term. Living with integrity might cost you approval. Living with courage might cost you comfort. Living with discipline might cost you ease. Living with kindness might cost you the satisfaction of revenge. Your nervous system is wired to avoid loss and pain. So, when a choice threatens your safety, belonging, or comfort, even if it's aligned with your values, your fear speaks up. If you say what you really think, they might leave. If you stand by your boundary, they might be angry. If you do the right thing, you might lose this opportunity. So, you compromise. Not because you're evil, but because you're scared. The Stoics understood fear. They just refused to let it be their master. To them, the real loss wasn't, they might be upset with me. The real loss was, I might betray my own soul. Every time you act against your values to keep the peace on the outside, you disturb the peace on the inside. You may keep the relationship, keep the opportunity, keep the image, but you lose a piece of your self-respect, and that is a trade you cannot keep making forever. I live by my values is not you proclaiming perfection. It's you choosing alignment. So how do you turn this into a morning ritual instead of just another nice idea? In the morning, after you've guarded your attention, return to the present, chosen your response, welcomed discomfort, remembered you're enough, and released what you can't control. You do this. You choose one core value for the day, not 10, not a whole list, just one. Maybe today your value is honesty, maybe it's kindness, maybe it's courage, maybe it's discipline, maybe it's humility, patience, or service. You say it out loud. Today I live by courage, or today I live by kindness, or today I live by discipline. Then you ask a very simple but powerful question. If I truly lived by this value today, what would I do differently? If the value is courage, maybe it means sending the difficult message you've been avoiding, applying for the opportunity you're scared of, saying no where you've been afraid to set a boundary. If the value is kindness, maybe it means softening your tone with someone who usually triggers you, checking in on a friend, speaking to yourself with gentleness instead of contempt. If the value is discipline, maybe it means sticking to the habit you keep breaking, doing the important work before you touch your phone, showing up for your body even when you don't feel like it. You do not need to live that value perfectly, but you choose one concrete action that expresses it, one vote you will definitely cast. Then you carry that value with you like a quiet compass throughout the day. When a choice appears, what to say, what to eat, how to respond, whether to keep a promise, you look at your compass and ask, which option matches the value I chose this morning? At night, you do a quick check-in, no long journal if you don't want to. Just a simple reflection. How many times did I vote for my value today? When did I ignore it? You celebrate even the small wins. I was honest, even though it was awkward. I chose kindness instead of sarcasm once. I showed discipline by doing the hard thing first. And when you see where you fell short, you don't drown in shame. You just notice and commit. Tomorrow, I'll cast one more vote in the right direction. This is how you close the gap between your words and your life. Not with one dramatic decision, but with quiet alignment, repeated. The Stoics would tell you, your peace will not come from knowing more Stoic quotes. It will come from embodying what you already know, one day at a time. Living by your values does not guarantee an easy life. You may lose some things, fake approval, shallow comfort, relationships that depended on your self-betrayal. But what you gain is something rarer. You start to trust yourself. You look at your own actions and feel a deep, quiet pride, not because you're perfect, but because you are honest with yourself. You become someone you would admire if you met them. This is how you stop being just someone who talks beautifully about life and become someone who lives beautifully in real life. So, tomorrow morning, choose your value, speak it, ask how it wants to be expressed today. And then, when it's hard, remember, every choice is a vote. Every action is a ballot. Who are you voting for? If this resonates with you, write this in the comments to lock it in. Today, I act on my values. Every morning, before the world gets loud, you stand at a crossroads. You can slide back into autopilot, or you can choose to build something different inside your own mind. In this video, you didn't just collect ideas, you walked a path. A simple, repeatable path you can take every single morning. You began at the gate with, I guard my attention. You stopped letting your phone, the news, and other people's chaos be the first voice in your head. You treated your mind like a fortress, not a public park. Then you said, I return to the present. You pulled yourself out of yesterday's regret and tomorrow's anxiety and came home to the only place you ever actually live. This breath, this day, this moment. You reclaimed your power with, I choose my response. You remembered that between what happens and what you do next, there is a space, and in that space, you are free. You are no longer just reacting. You are authoring. You walked into the gym of the soul with, this discomfort is my growth. You stopped seeing every hard thing as a punishment and started seeing it as training. Not because pain is good, but because you refuse to waste it. You laid a new foundation with, I am already enough. You stepped off the endless treadmill of proving and performing. You remembered that your worth is not a negotiation, not a number, not a scoreboard. It is something you already carry. You loosened your grip with, I release what I can't control. You put your energy back where it belongs, into your character, your effort, your responses. You stopped trying to be the god of outcomes and chose to be the guardian of your own mind. And you finished with, I live by my values. You chose not to just talk about the life you believe in, but to cast real votes for it through small, aligned actions that match the person you say you want to be. 7 sentences. One morning. An entire life, slowly rewired from the inside out. You cannot control everything that will happen to you in this life. Neither could the Stoics. They knew exile, war, illness, betrayal, loss, but they refused to hand over their inner world. That was their battlefield. That is yours. You don't need a perfect mind. You need a committed one. You don't need to do this flawlessly. You just need to meet each new day and speak to yourself a little better than you did yesterday, and then live like you meant it. So hold this with you and write it in the comments to lock it in. Asterisk, asterisk, I am the architect of my mind. Asterisk, asterisk. If this spoke to you, like this video, share the affirmation you want to wake up with tomorrow, and subscribe to Stoic Current so we can keep rebuilding your inner world, morning by morning. And if you're ready to go deeper into stillness, into Stoic mornings, into clearing toxic thoughts, there's another video waiting for you. Don't just scroll to whatever comes next. Choose intentionally what you feed your mind from here.